Rob, welcome to the Jim Masters Show, my friend. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Jim. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure to welcome you here, my friend. And how are things going? You know, you and I were having a great conversation before we went on the air. We were talking about, just getting through the day to day these days. So much has changed in our lives, individually and collectively, with all the things that have come at us that we've had to deal with. But hopefully it's been a good time to really reflect and reboot and refresh and maybe plug in and start some new things and explore some other areas of creativity. How have you been, and what are some of the things you've been doing during all this craziness?
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I mean, what I've noticed is the time has gone very quickly and also very slowly simultaneously. Moved out of New York City for the first time I was there 17 years since college. So we bought a house upstate, just an hour north, and I've been in the dirt, gardening and restoring this 1940s farmhouse.
That is cool.
That we bought. Yeah. And it's really been a beautiful moment to kind of just get back to checking in with yourself and sort of the immediate family,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's been hard for a lot of people, and I can't imagine. I applaud and slightly envy, but also glad I missed and had the opportunity. I'm humbled to have gotten the opportunity to get out into a little bit more space and just reconnect. We're doing a lot of planting and gardening and just back to basics. Learning to grow our own food here. No, that's all my husband.
So this is all just you've become.
I'm along for the ride. Here.
So when you're out in the yard, does he assign tasks? Does he say, okay, here's how you plant the garden, here's how you till the soil, here's how you get the fertilizer going, and this is the spacing of the plants and all of that? So does he sort of have a strategy and then you guys put it together, or is it just, hey, let's just do it? And does he assign you tasks?
Oh no, there are tasks. I have more notes in this life than I did as an actor.
That's right. That plant is only for shade. That plant is only for partial sun.
Oh, and he knows all the scientific names, and we're doing all right.
I gotta meet him because I'm a green thumb myself too. So
you'll have to come up.
Chat about the same language. But it's really incredible. You mentioned this whole thing with gardening and people taking on things that are sort of soothing and getting back into nature. That has been really huge during all this crazy time. And gardening actually was the number one thing that people started to either reacquaint themselves with or do for the first time at the height of all of the craziness of the health situation. And so you picked a good one there.
Yeah, we were talking earlier before we got on the air about the things that can't keep on the shelves, and gardening and compost and pots and things are one of them, because everyone was like, I think I'm going to take up gardening.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's therapeutic, and it is sort of getting back into that mindset of what do we really need in life to be happy, fresh air, good people around you, good company, food and the people that you love.
Yes.
So very little when you look at it.
Now, had you always known that, or did the situation of, pandemic, we say that very lightly because YouTube goes crazy when you say that word. So we just go pandemic. During that, is it something that you always knew, and then just this gave you time to really, express it, the importance of family and friends and just reconnecting with who Rob really is during this time of reflection?
Well, I can say that I've always been a subscriber of the theory of quality over quantity.
Me too.
And there are learned things as you get older, you start to realize that what truly matters. And I think the pandemic did that for a lot of people. It caused a lot of, because we were home and had nothing but our thoughts and, worries about the world. But if you can sort of turn that off, and look at what's truly important. I'd say I half had that mentality, and the other half really sort of grown through these 2 years. You know,
Yeah.
especially when I had a whole slate of projects lined up and an epic trip leading up to the world as we know it now. The 2 weeks leading into COVID. Had a wonderful time in Buenos Aires for New Year's, and spent time with friends we hadn't seen in a while. And then I went immediately on a trip to London for business. We were shopping for a theater for the late Mark Medoff's final written play about Marilyn Monroe. And we were getting ready to cast, and we were theater shopping. And then kind of a cool part of the story is coming back. We actually, my business partner and I canceled our trip, the flights home, because we were given the opportunity to take Richard Branson's new cruise ship from Liverpool to New York.
Oh, you did, huh?
So a 13-day transatlantic cruise, inaugural sailing of the ship. It's a 3,000 person ship. There were only 700 people on it. And we were basically there to pressure test the restaurants and all the new performances that they were doing. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous new ship. And we basically had it to ourselves. So we was like, all right, we're kind of living the dream here. This is great. Business is going well.
Cool.
We're on the open seas.
Right.
And then about halfway through the trip, we're in the middle of the Atlantic, and the captain gets over the loudspeaker and says, so this COVID thing that people have been talking about is in the States now. It's spiking. We are no longer heading to New York. We're heading to our home port in Miami. So here's a $200 travel voucher to get your way home. And there were people on this ship from all over the world, honestly. And we pulled into port in Miami a day before the cruise line industry shut down. So I went back to New York. Was there for about 2 weeks with the dogs and my husband. And we were like, we don't know how long this is going to last. So let's at least go for the next step, which is a little more space. So we went out to my mom's on Long Island, good old Long Island.
Yes, we're both island boys originally. Yeah.
Representing.
You always ask what exit.
70 all the way out there.
That's right. Yes.
So
just before Riverhead.
yeah. So Riverhead's just a little bit to the north. We're basically just on the south shore of that, right?
South shore
with Riverhead. And that was wonderful. We all sort of quarantined together. It was my brother and my husband and my dogs and my mom and my stepfather. And it got old real quick. My mom and I are very close, but I think my stepfather was like, my house, and you do this. And so we were like, all right. Okay. We were always we were getting ready to wrap our minds around buying a house. And this sort of accelerated that. We were like, we need to find a place. So we did the whole real estate FaceTime tour and saw a couple houses and went up, and we closed in about 4 weeks and moved into a beautiful little farmhouse just an hour north of the city. And here I am.
Wow. Is it Westchester or Rockland County?
Wappinger Falls.
Oh, Wappinger Falls. Yeah, sure.
It's just south of Poughkeepsie, and everybody knows Beacon up here. Beacon is a great little town. We would come up here for lunch, so that's why we kind of knew the area. But yeah, Wappinger's great, and it's just off the Hudson River, and happy as could be. And thankfully, theater's alive and kicking again, and getting back to business.
It's amazing. I know that area well because I did a show at one time, actually on WHUD and WLNA in Peekskill. The AM/FM's there in that area, and it's a great spot. It's interesting because coming from Long Island, which is flatter like Florida with the sandy beaches and all, and then you're going up north to that area, very different in terms of the hills and twists and turns and everything. So
my goodness,
you guys have all-wheel drive or
oh yeah, we got we're big Subaru fans. We got that all-wheel drive, but it's like Narnia up here. The train ride is spectacular.
Yes,
when you're heading south into Grand Central, because it's like you could forget that you're an hour outside of New York City. I mean, it's just the start of the the rolling hills of the Catskills.
Yes.
So it's like another world. It certainly doesn't feel like New York.
Fantastic, right?
Oh,
fall foliage as you're going across there, and
gorgeous up here. So lots of hiking, lots of gardening, lots of doggy love. They've been very spoiled, having us home to themselves for so long. But
Yeah.
we're getting back to business somewhat, right? There's still a little bit of
Things
a
are
lurking pandemic, and some other worldly things going on. So we're
something
mindful of
involving
that.
monkeys, or it's like, what?
Monkeys and
Yeah.
war and
Oh,
and
just
looming
like
recessions.
I was gonna say, it's like we're in something that is an episode of the Twilight Zone, or a novel that Stephen King penned, or George Lucas blockbuster.
Yeah, we're going to get a hybrid of those two movies, because now that we move into,
I was
obviously
gonna say,
the buzzwords of the year so far, of metaverse and pandemic. It's like,
right,
I think things are tracking here. Someone was
right,
telling the sci-fi guys, someone traveled back in time and wrote a lot of good books on the future.
yeah.
I think.
And we thought Earthquake and Sense Around, the Poseidon Adventure, and the Towering Inferno were rough.
Oh my God. Well, that's the next chapter for us. No, no, no. No, we
So,
got to get back to that place of go on, forget your
yes,
troubles, and
yes,
focus on what's important to you, and be happy and spread
kindness,
happiness,
yeah.
and it's necessary. And gratitude, it's a big
Oh,
one,
biggie. We
for
talk
what
about
we
that a lot.
actually have.
Yes, that's it. Because as we know, it can disappear in a New York minute, and it can be, everything. Life is fleeting, and moments are fleeting. So savor them, and relish them, and share them with others. Kindness, empathy. I keep saying, I'm hoping that through all this, you know, a lot of that comes together: more kindness, empathy, collaboration, and people realizing that, we've mentioned it with other guests, that the world spins a lot smoother on its axis when it's balanced, and when we are together, and when there's a little bit more kindness being emphasized. We're not necessarily seeing that right now, but
No,
hey, those of you watching the Jim Masters show who are searching for that, you're at the right spot here. I mentioned this extraordinary background that you have in the theater and in film uh, as well as being on stage, on camera, behind the scenes too, as a prolific producer. How did it all begin for you? Did you grow up on Long Island doing, plays, getting involved with
yeah,
school plays in your garage? What, we
right.
did all that.
So, yeah, in a way, I guess. So, growing up on Long Island, um, the first job I ever said I wanted to be was an actor. I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and my reasoning there was, I could act and be a firefighter, or an astronaut, or this or that, or a veterinarian. I could just act. If I'm an actor, I can do all of those things. So for a very long time, that was what I wanted to do with my life. And I always had some sort of show going on, or some sort of tickets. I was very entrepreneurial at a young age. I had the lemonade stand all decked out. I made money. It's a funny story my mother
You
will
did that
share.
too, the lemonade stand? So
Oh
did
yeah.
I.
I
What'd
was
you
so
charge per cup? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but I would get candy in bulk from like Costco, and I would sell that too. So I mean, I was making ridiculous money for a 10-year-old
That's
with a
cool.
lemonade stand. And I'll never forget the day that my younger brother was born. I was really upset. My mom was like, the ambulance had come we got to go to the hospital. The baby's coming. And I'm like, but I have sales today. It's an 80-degree day. Like, I was very happy when my little brother came into this world, but it
We were
was
lucky because,
lost revenue.
our house, was on a corner, so we had 2
Oh,
streets
yeah, you
that
got
we
that.
could work. So we would put the stand right in the middle, so people coming this way, people coming that way, out on Long Island, and it was
Brilliant.
sort of, it's like, if you're going this
Fishing
way.
with dynamite. Come on. And
Yeah.
my secret, I had a secret recipe. It was an extra 2 scoops of sugar powder,
Ooh,
essentially.
that's
So
what it
I'm sure it
was.
was awful to the adults at the time, but I thought I had something there.
But the kids loved it. They went
Yeah.
crazy for it.
So yeah, I was always doing shows and making tickets and giving them to my family to come and join my my stuffed animals and watch me perform. I was musical at a young age. I learned piano, self-taught, very young. I was playing saxophone in second and third grade, and then unfortunately, fourth grade. After 2 years of studying, the school district basically made the students, you have to purchase the instrument after your second
Remember
year.
that? Yeah.
And
Mhm.
unfortunately, at the time, I was raised by a single mom who, did everything she could to make ends meet and provide for my brothers and I. We couldn't afford the instrument, so I had to drop the saxophone. Um, and then, I really had kind of a later adolescence and early teen years, a lot of struggles, and not
Trying to
finding my
find
place.
yourself or
Yeah, I was just it's bad. It was a bad town too. The Mastic Shirley area was, very underserved as far as curriculum to keep kids, with their heads screwed on straight, and and all the bad things that come with neighborhoods and overcrowded school districts like that. Um, and uh, drugs and not staying in school, and it's just kind of plagued. It's one of those towns where, like, if you didn't have the opportunities or the means, you never leave, and it kind of consumes you. Um, so fortunately, we were able to get back on our feet, and we moved literally 12 miles east, Jim,
Mm.
to a town called East Moriches,
Oh, yeah?
and I got to pick a new school district, and
There's
it
like
was
a
a
world of difference.
yeah. So our town didn't. It was a small hamlet essentially that didn't have a high school of its own. So the students got to choose in this district which of the surrounding high schools you got to go to, and I chose West Hampton Beach. And then when I got there, it was like a whole different world to me. It was, I mean, my graduating class was 210 students, so very small high school,
Mhm.
a very privileged high school. We moved into a completely different area code. That's for sure. Kids were driving their parents' BMWs and Mercedes to school. And I really felt like I didn't fit in. I was pushing back against that, and I had no sense of self or sense of community. And I was still getting in, a decent amount of trouble, and I was refusing to make new friends. Um, Freshmen and sophomores were not allowed to go out to lunch, but juniors and seniors were, and this was my freshman year. Um, and I remember I would always dip out at lunch to go eat by myself. We were just, a short walk to the beach, and there were delis and stuff, so I would usually be on my own. And I kept getting caught by the security guard every time I would, try to sneak back in. Um, to the point where they were like, you need to stop doing this, Robert. And I was like, well, I can't. I don't like it here. um,
Yeah. Well, once they
so
say Robert,
yeah.
you knew that,
Oh yeah,
they were
then I knew.
that's like me with when I heard James, I knew, stand up tall.
And then, when you get the middle name in there, then you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
But that's reserved for mothers only, I think.
Mhm.
Maybe privileged aunties, and uncles.
Yes.
Um,
And a 7th
so
grade math teacher that was a little militaristic, I remember. Everybody's name was was the full name.
everyone really.
Yeah, that's it. There's no Bobby, it's Robert. There's no
Yes.
Jimmy, it's James.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that'll get you to pay attention. So basically, I devised a plan to keep going out for lunch through my sophomore year, which was I went to the chorus and theater director, who is a dear friend of mine now, and someone that I owe a lot of uh, my accomplishments to, just for finally being able to look at the world in a different way. Um, but I sort of I schemed on her when we first met. So I went to her and I said, we're doing a project in English class, where we have to dress mannequins up like the literary characters in the books we're reading right now. And I think we were reading Little Women or something. So I was like, all right, we got to do I'm doing a mannequin of the character Joe, and I need this wig, and I need like a woman's coat, and I need this and this and this. And I kept this costume in my locker, and essentially dressed in drag to sneak out for lunch on a daily basis, right in front of the security guard that would always catch me. And he, I was tall then.
Mm.
tall for high school, I guess. I'm still tall now, but he had no idea I looked like a substitute teacher or something. So that went on for months and months and months until finally I got caught. And there's the wig and the coat on the principal's desk. And where'd you get this stuff from, Robert? I said, well, the chorus teacher gave it to me. Well, let's call her in here. What's going on here? And I said, well, this is, I don't have friends, and I was going out for lunch, and they thought I would be of best use, and what would be best for me is to try out for the school play, and put my energies to good use. And I never looked back. I made my first group of friends that are lifelong friends now. My best friend, who's a filmmaker, we work together still to this day. And I found the theater. The theater literally saved me. That sense of self, that sense of community came from joining the theater. And then I was able to look back at, being 6 or 7, and be like, I always wanted to be an actor. So that's what I went to school for.
Yeah, which is fantastic. And then you went to Pace, right? And then really started to get immersed in the world, huh?
Yeah, so Pace was really special. My time at Pace, I was the second class to graduate with a BFA in music theater there. The program was at its very beginnings, to the point where the class sizes were so small. I mean, I think my graduating class in college, we were maybe 14. But we had a lot of attention, individual attention from the professors, and all the professors were working on Broadway on a regular basis. We had our business of acting was a casting director, and our music theory teacher was leaving class early sometimes to go and conduct at Phantom or whatever shows they were doing. So we had real hands-on access to. Though you'd never know it. I never went north of Houston Street in my college years, basically, except we were going up to see a show. I didn't explore Manhattan until maybe afterwards. But yeah, it was a really special time at Pace. And I was one of the, I guess, only leading men that got put to constant use there, and trying to get out of my own damn way, as being a later stage teenager and trying to find yourself. I think all the opportunity was there, and I look back now and I'm like, I think I could have paid attention more, been to school more, for more than just being there for the shows, but the program now has grown into something spectacular. I mean, it's really expanded. The university as a whole really gave a lot more latitude to the department, because it was a huge tuition puller, and it wasn't at the start. So things were sort of really rough and ragged, very hands-on, all hands on deck to produce the shows. And we had very small performance budgets. We had one main stage, if you're familiar with the Schimmel Center, which is where they filmed the actors inside the actor studio with James Lipton.
I missed him.
School.
I miss James.
You want to talk about soft talking and conversational?
Which I love that, as you can tell. I love that style. He was really something. Yeah. You got a chance to meet him and chat with him?
Oh yeah, many tapings. I'm on a couple episodes asking questions. I can't remember it was Dustin Hoffman, Tom Hanks. I think I asked a few questions there.
What was that like for you? Kind of cool, huh?
Oh, it was amazing. And then you go and play back Bradley Cooper at 20 years old. I
saw
on the
that
show,
one
asking
too.
questions.
I saw that. Yeah.
I forget who he was talking to at the time, but it was an extraordinary opportunity. And then the MFA program actually moved to Pace itself. So we got even more love then. And things really grew. By the time I graduated, the department had grown immensely. So I was really proud to be, saying I graduated from Pace, and went on to study Meisner at William Esper Studios for just a little more well-roundedness, if you will. I feel like some curriculums, especially music theater, are so music and voice and movement and dance heavy that they sort of forget the whole other reason why we're there on that stage is to act. So I needed that. I wanted that, because I had originally applied to the acting program. They stole me away to the music theater program. They're like, "Can you sing? We don't have any leading men." I was like, "I think I can sing." I did a couple musicals in high school, and I was still finding my voice. Let's leave it at that. I can't. I cringe. It's my mother's favorite thing to do is to put on the high school DVDs of the high school performances. And I did Kiss Me Kate my senior year, and I was in love with the role. And I basically learned to sing, although it wasn't my voice; it was an imitation from Brian Stokes Mitchell, from the
Oh,
Brian
yeah.
Stokes Mitchell Marin Mazzie production.
Sure.
That had opened up the brand new theater on 42nd Street at the time. And what was that, 2001 or so?
Yeah.
And acting wise, I took it very seriously, but I was very self-conscious. I mean, it's an epic role. I mean, that's not a novice role to sing, especially if you're starting out. So I look at that, I sort of cringe, but mom loves it and I love it. But, I moved on and thankfully had some great vocal training from some of the masters at Pace University. And I found my voice and I found my way.
So as you found your way and found your voice, then opportunity starts to come knocking for you. That we all have these stories of those pivotal moments in our lives where somebody gave us an opportunity, or all of the moons were lined up perfectly, and just something happened where people started to really notice who Rob is and his talent and his drive and his passion and his resilience.
Yeah.
For you, were there a couple of moments where, it's all blood, sweat, and tears, none of it's just overnight, but
Sure.
were there a couple of pivotal moments that then next for you really made a difference and people witnessing, appreciating who you are and what you did?
Yeah, I think, it's funny because I was ready to do the hard slog that every actor does, and I wasn't the best auditioner, I would say. So I had my issues in getting, and that's a whole other skill set that they really need to, I urge every curriculum to really beat down into the true business of acting and what it means to present yourself properly. It's not just about booking, getting into the show and being on stage. That's one set of training, but how to present yourself. And I think that's the part that I lacked and struggled with a lot, and the hesitation and procrastination to prepare properly, and to have people see you in the 30 seconds you have, how you need and want to be seen, and then removing all that to actually show your talents. And things were ready. I was hungry, and at the same time, bartending, of course, as you do, or waiting tables in the city. I was talking with my friend, and neither of us had acted in a role in a little bit. We had done some off-Broadway stuff, and we were, in a company for a bit. I had done a fringe show, and so coming off of that, you're really missing it. Each family that you create in a show, it's like it's a loss when the show closes, right? And so we're behind the bar on a Saturday night or whatever, and it's late and we're not making any money. And we're like, why don't we just put on our own show? Why don't we just raise some money and let's just do this? So we thought the best way to do that, with our best hearts, was to start a nonprofit theater company, which we did. And Monday's Dark was born in 2011. And we put a call out for American playwrights of new plays. And it got picked up on Playbill and every other writers forum. And we ended up getting like hundreds and hundreds of submissions.
Wow.
And we whittled it down to a season of 3 shows. We only ended up producing one of them. Well, first was actually we got the rights to Red Light Winter. And so my buddy and I put that show on, and we did it for friends and family. And we extended 3 weekends, and it was a dream. And we fed ourselves, we fed our souls. But we kind of said, hey, we were good at this. Then the theater company started, and then we did the poll for plays, and we produced a show. If You Start a Fire, Be Prepared to Burn by Kevin Kautzman. I'll never forget that title. It's a mouthful, but what a great show. We had a little celebrity casting, and we did really well. And we sold out a month's worth at the 45th Street Theater, which is now, which was, I think, I'm not sure if he's in the space anymore, the Ken Davenport Theater.
Oh yeah, sure.
So it's a little gem, it's tucked away. But, we really learned a lot in the moment, being in the trenches of what it takes to put on a show. It reminded us, back in the college days where everyone was hands-on. and you had to learn how to do the gels and set the lights
Do
and,
it all,
right,
exactly. That's
right.
how I learned too in
That's why
school. Yeah.
that's why theater people they're ready for anything. They
Yeah.
can do it all. Um, so the director that we had found for that show um, was a director from Orlando who had sort of saturated his market, and he was, he did decently for himself outside of theater as a real estate investor. So he moved to New York and got a beautiful sky pad and said, "I'm going to start. I want to direct on Broadway." And he was gunning for some associate director positions. But what better way to start than to get your foot in the door by raising money? Because
Hmm.
if you can do that, the doors will open. There's a lot of gatekeepers in the theater community, as I'm sure you
Oh yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
But if you can raise money and start that way, it's a good way to get started. So um, they started this in basically an investment portfolio where they would pick 5 to 7 shows over the season, and they took on members and they would place the investments for the shows. Now unfortunately, and the rates haven't gotten any better, 80% of shows on Broadway don't make their money back. So if you're not choosing strategically, and even if you are, you could still end up with a flop, if you will. The fund quickly dried up, if that's a better term to use. And we were at the time sort of glorified interns assisting our director in running this fund. So I was meeting a lot of people on the other side of the table for the first time. And then a company called Broadway Records was started, which I became general manager of. And that's really,
Oh
and
wow.
when we
Yeah.
launched that, because cast albums were sort of dying and they were
Yeah.
hella expensive to
I remember
produce.
Broadway records. Yeah.
350, $500,000 to produce a cast album, and a lot of shows
Mhm.
couldn't even afford to do it. So shows were closing before they had even memorialized a cast album. So Broadway Records came along to try to scale that and make it cheaper to produce. And a lovely little indie label that is still run by its founder, Van Deen.
Mhm.
And they're kicking, they're doing really great.
Yeah.
But this relationship started with 54 Below because it was the first year that 54 Below had opened. So we essentially got the recording contract to do all the shows at 54 Below. So the first ones, I mean, we had Bernadette Peters, Patti LuPone, um, Laura Benanti, Aaron Tveit, you name it. So that is when it clicked for me. And I sort of started knocking around with a different set of people on the other side of the table. And I was like, I think I'm good at this. And I love acting so much. I had always I didn't want to bastardize my love of being on stage by trying to pay the bills doing it, as so many actors do. And it steals your soul,
Mhm.
because the opportunities are sort of far and wide these days. And it's not lost on me how privileged I was too, as a white cisgendered male, that the opportunities were primely for me. Thankfully, that's changing because we're a little more aware of those that have been disenfranchised through that development pipeline or educational pipeline, so that we can be successful in commercial theater. But yeah, I was like, okay, this is interesting. I think we should start a production company. So it grew very quickly to us wanting to develop our own shows, and the way to get started was to raise money. And I was bartending at the time at a ritzy place on Fifth Avenue and had a lot of high net worth clients. And they knew of my dreams and aspirations. And we had become friends with a couple of bar clients. And when the opportunity arose to essentially raise in the the 11th hour for All the Way, which was helmed by Jeffrey Richards, he gave my business partner and I a chance to raise for the show. And we came up with the money in 3 weeks' time and got billed as associate producers of the show that went on to win all of the awards that year, including Best Actor for Bryan Cranston. And that
What
was it.
was that? I mean, now you're thrust into different levels with a show like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
tell us about that. I mean, what was that really like being a part of that production? And of course, I don't think there's anything that you could give Bryan Cranston that he couldn't just take and run with it. People, of course, remember him as the
Oh
dad
yeah.
from Malcolm in the Middle and Breaking Bad and
Right.
on and
Right.
on and on. But that particular production, all the way, something quite special, huh?
Something magical happened. He was just coming off of the limelight of Breaking Bad. The series had just ended, and people were finally shook awake by the fact that, oh, that's Malcolm's dad. What? So he redefined himself as a comedic actor. You want to talk about slogging and working your butt off, and that man can do
Mhm.
anything. Um, a decent amount from him. A little piece of advice he gave me was, showing yourself when you're there. All the work is done, and that's in the training and in your preparation. When you get in front of those people, you're not there for a job. You're there to show them you.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's very useful had I still been pursuing acting, but still very meaningful because I was ready to show who I wanted to be, I guess. Um, and that show was just a spectacular way to get started. I mean, you want to talk about building a brand or some sort of story behind, two blue collar kids that are, not from the high net worth world of just writing checks to produce Broadway shows. I mean, we raised every dollar ourselves. Um, and we went on to get several more opportunities from Jeffrey Richards. And over the next 4 years, we raised over $7 million across about 8 productions. And then the nominations that come along with them, and the recognition and the sense of community. It's all lovely and it's encouraging. Um, we quickly realized that
Mhm.
there's no career to be made out of co-producing on Broadway. The co-producers are in a very interesting position within the financial waterfall of a show. And at the top of that waterfall still sits the statistics that 4 out of the 5 shows don't make their money back. Well, the co-producers don't receive any their share of the profits until the show has recouped all of its money. All the investors get their money back first, and then it moves into a 50-50 split between the producers and the investors. And then co-producers get a very small share of
Right.
the producer share of profits. Well, if 4 out of 5 shows aren't making their money back, co-producers aren't making any money. Um, and that's okay for a lot of them. And thankfully, we have such philanthropic and financially endowed individuals that continue to come back to invest in theater. Without them, I'm not sure what commercial theater in New York would be right now. But certainly for 2 up and comers that were looking to, all of our college friends and high school friends think we're like rich, Tony Award winning producers now. And we're like, no, we're still bartending. You have no idea, you know. So the recognition was great, and it certainly set us up for success. So we took that and ran with it because we quickly realized that we need to start developing our own shows. So we found writers, and we were working on 3 shows at that time. And then out of nowhere, we were doing industry presentations and producing, and we started to get a knack for that. And then the opportunity came to us to basically help develop Mark Medoff, who wrote Children of a Lesser God, his play about Marilyn Monroe, and that created a friendship, 2 friendships really, that are very important to me still to this day. So Mark's daughter, and we lost Mark in April of 2019 now.
Yeah.
But his daughter is like the sister I never had. We've grown
Mm.
very close, and she's producing his play with me now. She manages his IP. But Mark was a beautiful soul, and if there's anyone in the theater that I've met that has helped sort of shape what my future outlook should be and how to keep my head on straight, it was Mark Medoff and that family.
Mm.
So I'm blessed and humbled to the path that I took, and it was a meandering one that got me to where I am today. And yeah,
That's really cool. There's
all thanks to the theater.
all thanks to the theater. Yes, funded initially by the proceeds of the lemonade stand
That's right. That's right.
You just you invested it early.
That's it.
And then you have nights like this.
Yeah, do you see how look at me glowing there? I mean, that
I
was
was gonna
and we
say,
weren't
right?
supposed to be in this picture, Jim. We were associate producers, so we never got a statue, which is fine and fine. Because associate producers don't get nominated or the award. So I was always able to run with it by saying, we were associate producers of the Tony Award winning Broadway play all the way. So
Even though it takes a village.
it
Yeah.
takes a village. So
If
what do
you're
we
looking for
do?
him, he's under the CBS eye. That's where he is.
Radio City Music Hall in all of our glory. They announce all the way as the winner, and my business partner at the time, who's just to my left there, we decided we were going up on stage, and no one batted an eyelash. And here we are backstage at Radio City with the cream of the crop there: Robert Schenken, the author, the other producers in the play, and Bryan Cranston himself. So that was cloud nine right there.
That had to be, yeah. That I would imagine that's a photo when you see it, it just gives you tingles. It
I
just
don't
really,
remember taking this photo. So believe it or not,
yeah,
if you ever have this moment, and it happens when you're,
yeah,
when you're preparing for, or if you're lack of preparation, if you will, for a role, or, there's moments where you can kind of just everything goes dark, it's sort
yes,
of tunnel vision. It wasn't until like 25, 30 minutes after the award was issued that we were like, whoa, and then
mm,
looking back, it was like, I was blacked out from the
I
excitement and the adrenaline of it for
oh, I
sure.
don't doubt it.
Look at that face. So happy.
I tell you, I don't know who smiles bigger, yours or Brian's. You actually look like you could be related.
Uncle Brian.
Uncle
I love
Brian.
that. Oh, he's amazing.
You got to work with him again in
I
this.
did.
Tell us about this, Wakefield.
Wakefield. So Wakefield was an amazing opportunity to work with Brian again, but also Robin Swycord, who is just a brilliant filmmaker, and she really championed this piece. The most of the producers, this was very much theatrically geared, so a lot of the producers that were on all the way ended up funding this film, and it was really a love piece. Based on a short story by E.L. Doctorow, about a man that essentially abandons his family for a social experiment, if you will, to see what happens. If that what everyone wonders, like, what would life be like if I weren't here? How quickly would people move on? So he one day, he's got the life, he's got the house in Connecticut, and he's got the high-powered attorney job in New York City, and he gets off the train one day and doesn't go home. And he ends up basically stalking his family from the garage across the way, and they think that he's just gone.
Mhm.
So it was a really interesting piece, and I know why Brian was attracted to it, because he really loves to chew into material that has a lot more meaning than what's on the surface, and he's does wonders with it. We debuted at the Toronto Film Festival, the International Film Festival, and Jen Garner did some of the best non-lined acting I think I've ever seen. I think she has maybe 2 or 3 lines in the entire film, because she's always seen from afar from Howard's perspective, from the attic, which is really interesting. But it was a passion piece, fueled and funded by a bunch of Broadway producers, and I was so happy to be a part of it. And of course, for a chance to work with Brian again. Yeah,
That's
that was a
really
good
cool,
one.
huh? Yeah, that's so cool. Got another great photo here. Now you were involved in dash cam too, huh?
Dash cam.
Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
So this is a collaboration with my best friend that I grew up with, Christian Nilsson. Is a film writer and director, formerly of BuzzFeed. He was photojournalism for a while, and then really found his way for storytelling and writing. Um, we've been making movies together since we're 15, 16 years old.
Mm.
So to professionally work on a film with my best friend on this level was an honor. And Dashcam was born out of essentially our first film that we're working on now still, and it's in development, that COVID sort of crashed. This was a way for us to take a very small budget and shot through COVID on a very, very small crew to realize a project with the producers of the show that was sort of a back burner for the moment. Because we were like, we're all here. Why don't we get something in the can? So funnily enough, just before this, the reason we got outside funding for that movie was because Christian had worked on a digital short that took place on Zoom at the very start of the pandemic, and made this film for next to nothing, self-funded. And that summer, this is summer of 2020, no one was going to the movie theaters, let alone regular theaters. So what Christian did was quite epic. He bought every seat in our local performing arts center in West Hampton Beach, the Performing Arts Center. And essentially, because of box office reporting, because there was very few movies that were playing anywhere, became the #1 movie in America for that week by gross sales. And he was able to essentially pay himself back because he was purchasing the seats from himself. So that got all the press in the world. I mean, Deadline, Variety, people calling left and right saying, who is this kid? How did you get so clever? And you really pulled one over on the system, but he really used it as a press, just a blast off, because then the money started knocking to say, what else have you written and what can we work with you on? So Christian's he's been just such a hard worker, and really focusing on the details that matter and perfecting the writing. And he went back to the old scripts and said, all right, let's get ready to make a movie. So we're coming out of this now, and we get to realize another feature film very shortly. Hopefully by the end of this year, we move into production. And it's actually titled West Hampton, where we grew up and went to high school.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Another one, Graves too, right?
So this one, you can see my acting prowess in here. I am in this depiction here. I am the monster on the top left, sort of the conniving guy there. I'll send you some photos that maybe you can include, and I'll point to it here of me in that makeup. That was 4 hours of makeup for the very, very talented Terrence Cray, who I've been working with on some indie films for quite some time now. Yeah, so Graves was a revival of a cast of O Inverted World, which was an episodic internet show that we did through 3 summers. I think we did 2 seasons of it. Geez, that's like 2012, 2013 now at this point. But some of my most loved time in front of a camera with that group of people.
How about this one too? Strangers with Candy.
Oh, you're really pulling them out here. So
this is from the lemonade stand to Candy.
So this was me, I want to say 16 years old. My first movie role. And I still have the pay stub, $75 for a day player. And I played no lines, but I got to play opposite Stephen Colbert.
That's right. So he was in this.
Yeah. So I was just supposed to be, an extra. And, if you're familiar with the universe of Jerry Blank and Strangers with Candy, the school is absolutely insane. And there's a lot of wonky things going on. But they have I was part of the varsity squat thrust team. So I was the varsity squat thrust team captain. I believe that's my IMDb credit at this point still. So in the scene, Stephen is up in, we filmed at a high school in Bayonne, New Jersey, and he's up 3 stories up in a window, and he looks down. He's getting reamed out by the principal for some reason. I believe the scene is shared with Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick. And he turns to look out the window to see the varsity squat thrust team beating on his car with sledgehammers. I was just like everyone else that showed up that day, but I know they liked my look and said, all right, you're the varsity team captain, take this sledgehammer and go to town on the hood of that car in 90-degree heat in Bayonne, New Jersey. And
for $75.
One of my proudest moments.
That's funny, I tell you. It's 75 actually not too bad. I mean, I've heard of
Hey,
$50 and,
it's a day's work.
it's a day's work, exactly. And, again, this was really cool too. You had an opportunity to create something really special, which we can't seem to get away from the need for all of these types of things. Just watch the news and you see it all.
Sure.
But you guys, you came together with this epic from Broadway with Love, and this was really after the Sandy Hook, Newtown, Connecticut
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And tell us about this, putting this together, and what this epic event was all about.
This was, it's like full circle now, right? Because we're dealing with it again and
again and again daily now. God.
This was hard. I'll never forget when I was, that the bar I was at on Fifth Avenue. My mom was in the city that day to visit me, so she came to visit me at the bar when the first news was breaking about what had actually happened at Sandy Hook. And I'll never forget the feeling of thinking about those kids, and it was later on that day back at the offices at Broadway Records, where we were speaking with Van Deen, and we said we have to do something and show some love to this community. So within a few days, a tribe of Broadway producers got together to start working on basically all expenses taken care of from every vendor, from the limousines to transport the talent to all of the food that was catered that day. I mean, look at all the people on that stage, live orchestra. Some of the biggest names of Broadway came to Sandy Hook to perform a concert of love and healing. And it was actually the first night, so just months after the tragedy, it was the first night that community was actually under the same roof together. I believe all but one of the surviving parents were there, all but one group, one family. The first night under one roof together, and it was a tremendous opportunity to do something that was larger than ourselves and necessary. That community was hurting, just like what's happening in Texas now, and all around the country for that matter. And unfortunately, it's only a U.S. problem. But
it really is. It really is.
It's amazing what can be accomplished when people take themselves and the ego out of it and just do what do we need to do to execute and get this done for these people that need this right now.
Right.
And it was tremendous. Yeah. I mean, all of the video and audio trucks, and PBS had a part in that. And, everyone donated their time and their efforts and their energies to make that night what it became. And it was
very special.
One of the most beautiful things I've ever been a part of, Jim.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to make sure we mentioned that. And changing gears a little bit, all dressed up, another.
So this was a short that I did that actually played at the Cannes Film Festival in the digital
not
short
shabby
series.
at all. I mean, God,
who'd have thought? I was the leading love interest in this short romantic comedy. I was probably 21 years old, and they took a liking to me, and I got to be a part of this. The woman on the cover there was her passion piece, and she said, "You're my Prince Charming," and I got to do it. We shot in Brooklyn. I never ever thought it would be traveling across the seas and accepted as the digital short presentation at the Cannes Film Festival.
That's incredible.
So traveled far and wide. You never know. Don't look down on the small opportunities, folks.
Do it all. Absolutely. I've done all kinds of
Say
stuff.
yes.
Free
You
things.
never know what will come of it.
Semi-free things and things that weren't supposed to be free that became free.
Right.
Because you had to keep calling to get paid. Where's the check? Where's the check?
This is free now. Gotcha.
and then they're out of business. So you're not
But what
getting it.
about the experience, Jim? It was for the
The
experience, no?
experience. Yes, exactly right. It's all about the experience. That's right. Speaking of experiences, tell us about the involvement with this epic on Broadway there, Company.
I saw this in London in 2018 on a trip while we were there shopping for a theater for the Mark Medoff piece, and said, if this comes to New York, and there's no reason why it shouldn't, I need to be a part of it. So Company
Mm,
was one of my most favorite shows that I performed in college. And I played Bobby. I covered Bobby. That was
mhm,
given, Bobby was played by my dear friend James Sloan.
mhm.
But I got some performances to myself and had friends and family come. And that cast is probably the closest cast of any show that I've ever done. And we all still keep in touch. And everyone's doing beautiful things in their life. So Company had a really special place in my heart, besides doing other Sondheim shows and being in love with that master. So when the opportunity arose to raise money for this show, I said, count me in. And it was very easy to do. Why wouldn't it be? Patti LuPone, Stephen Sondheim, Katrina Lenk. And then, of course, what you think you're on a hit and everything's good and ready to go. And we shut down a week before opening in 2020 for, at the
That's
time,
right.
we thought was a 2-week hiatus, turned
Mhm.
into almost 2 years. Um, Thankfully, it came back.
Came back.
The insurance gods were very nice to some shows and unfortunately not so nice to others, but it did have the
Yeah.
opportunity to come back and get back on its feet and spread that word of mouth. It's a beautifully helmed production by Marianne Elliot. Um, Chris Harper is the lead producer. If you're not familiar with their work, Warhorse, Curious Incident of the Dog of the Nighttime. They're just masters at putting a show on. So this was everything it was supposed to be. And then another couple of weeks before opening is when we lost Stephen Sondheim. So
Mm,
just the fact that it's kind of the perfect show to come back to after being on hiatus from the pandemic. It's such an ode to New York.
yes.
The gender flipped mechanism that I truly think works the best in the show's 50-year history.
Yeah.
There's something really interesting in playing the role and just getting to know what the mindset is. Albeit very young, I was 20 playing a 35-year-old, and at the time I was like, 35 seems old. I'm 36 now, and I'm like, damn, hindsight's everything. But as the story's kind of old now for middle-aged straight white men having anything to complain about. People are sort of over that. So Company really doesn't work and how it's been performed in the past 50 years. How do you flip it? It's
Mm,
not just a silly stunt casting. I mean, think about it. At 35 years old, a woman is so much more with a biological clock thinking about her future. And I've had very dear friends of mine that are getting to that age now and saying, you don't understand how stressful this is. Like, it takes this much time to find the right person, and hopefully they're the right person. And then, do I want to have a child with this person, start a family, or we're going to get married? And I'm going to be 40 by then. And the doctors say you shouldn't have a baby after 40. So imagine just the emotional life and the tension and conflict that could be played into when that role is played by a woman. I think it's extraordinary, and I think the public agrees. And with all the Tony and Drama League and Drama Desk announcements and the Drama League win,
yes.
um, I think we're on the right track. We'll see. There's some other great revivals out there this season, but something tells me that this one's going to be for Stephen Sondheim.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I
yeah.
would say if folks have not had a chance to get into New York to see it, definitely do it and support, any of the shows, all of the different ones that you want to check out and you want to see. Absolutely.
And Patti does every show. She's a beast. Just
She
wear your
is
mask.
there.
Just
That's
wear your
right.
mask
Got-
and keep your phones away.
Exactly. And don't crinkle any Snickers bar wrappers or any of that. Eat before you get in.
Isn't she the best?
Yeah, just it tells it like it is, and keeps the train on the track, which we have to do. We have this too. is it the footage of the Teenie Awards? We have this nice
Oh,
little
yes.
clip here. Tell us about this. This is cool.
So the Teenie Awards it's a product of the East End Arts Council, which is a nonprofit on Long Island that supports the arts in high schools and making sure that children have access to whether it's the performing arts or fine arts. And they're an extraordinary company. They produce the Teenie Awards, which is the teen, get it, Teenies, Tonys. It's the celebration of excellence in high school performances. I myself was a 2-time Teenie nominee for my my high school shows that I did. Noises Off, which is one of my most prized theatrical memories with some of my dearest friends, and Kiss Me Kate. So the Teenies really it's a way to just show recognition and say, hey, I'm on the right path. And I felt that love, even though I didn't win, but it's honored to be nominated. And it kept me going, and then I went off to do it in high school. But I've always gone back now to support the Teenies and East End Arts. They've asked me to host the ceremony a few times. And then for this particular year, with the clip you're seeing is I did a video package for them to present Best Actress in a Musical. And I tapped some of my friends on Broadway to help deliver that message. And I was producing On the Town at the time. So the lovely and talented Tony Yazbek plays his part. And then I really, really surprised the kids, and they had no idea this was happening. They're sitting in their seats. The nominations are about to be read, just like, the host is doing, on stage. And then this video pops up, and it's Helen Mirren announcing, Dame Helen Mirren announcing the nominees for Best Actress in a Musical. And the kids went wild. So this year, it's the 20th anniversary of the Teenies, and they've had 2 years of remote digital Teenie Awards. This is the first year they're back in full swing. And let's see, this airs on Tuesday, this show, right? So we are after the Teenies, which happens this Sunday. So I can tell you, we've done it again. The cast of Company has joined forces to put a little special video package together for all the kids on Long Island. And there's like 22 high schools that participate. It's huge how they've grown it now.
That is so cool. Yeah. Let's take a look at this really cool clip that we have here, and people will get a real cool idea of what this is all about. And you're having a good time with this, huh?
Oh, big time. Big time.
Here it is, gang. Enjoy.
Well, hello. I am Rob Hinderliter, and as a former 2-time Teenie nominee, I was graciously asked to present at the Teenie Awards this year. Congratulations to all the nominees sitting in those seats there. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there today because today is also the Tony Awards. They always have the Teenies and the Tonys on the same day. So I'm here in New York City at the Lyric Theater right now, just getting ready. And I'm going to present to you guys digitally Best Lead Actor in a Play. So without further ado.
Oh, wait, what are you doing in my dressing room? I have to get ready for the Tonys. It's Sunday. I mean, it's kind of an important day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony nominee for Best Lead Actor in a Musical, Tony Yazbek.
Hi, everybody. What's going on here?
Yeah, look, I just needed somewhere to get ready. My bow tie was a little messed up, and
so just in my dressing room, or okay. So here we are.
Well,
do you need help with something, or can I?
Actually, that's
I
a great
get
idea.
To the Tonys. It's very quick. It's very.
Are you excited?
Very, very excited. All right, good. That's a big day.
Yeah. Would you mind helping me out here with the reading the nominations?
Oh, sure. If you
Please do the honors.
Oh, okay.
Tony
Awards.
Yazbek.
Okay, this is very exciting. All right, let's see here. Here we go. The nominees for lead actor in a play are Max Crean as George in Moon Over Buffalo at McGann Mercy.
Paul Hartman as Algernon Moncrief in The Importance of Being Earnest at Pearson.
Shane Hennessy as John Worthington, J.P. in The Importance of Being Earnest at Pearson.
Sean Mannix as stage manager in Our Town at Shoreham Wading River.
Ramsey Pack as Carol Danes in Bad Auditions by Bad Actors at Longwood. Drum roll, and the winner is Ramsey Pack as Carol Danes in Bad Auditions by Bad Actors at Longwood. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Hey everybody, it's me again. So we are just a few short hours away from the 69th Annual Tony Awards here in New York City at Radio City Music Hall. And without further ado, I would love to read to you the nominees for Best Lead Actress. Do you have the envelope? It's in my bag. Where's my bag? Oh my God. Okay, so I left my bag at Joe Allen last night. It's a restaurant. It's very close by. I'll just be back. You guys just wait here. Wait here, guys. Actually, you know what? Come with me. This could be fun. Hey, holy cow. Ladies and gentlemen, two-time Teenie Award winner, Christian Nilsson.
And two-time Teenie nominee. You didn't win.
No, I didn't. But as always, it's an honor to have been nominated. So what are you doing here?
Just working at a coat check.
All right, that's great.
What about you?
I run my own theatrical production company, and we're nominated for 3 Tony Awards this year. And I'm presenting at the Teenies. Say hi.
I mean, I own this coat check. It's my coat check.
Good for you. So listen, I have a bag that I left here. I was here last night. I don't have a ticket. Black bag. There's an AOL logo on it.
I actually think I gave that bag away. Some dame was here earlier, said she was going to the Schoenfeld.
The Schoenfeld? You gave my bag to someone else?
I didn't know it was your bag.
That's my bag.
I didn't know that. She said it was her bag.
Thank you. We are at the Schoenfeld Theater. This is apparently where the bag is. Let's check it out.
Hello? Yes?
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, Dame Helen Mirren, Tony nominee for the audience.
That's right. Sorry, what are you doing here?
Well, here's the thing.
Mhm.
I believe that's my bag.
That's your bag?
May I come in?
Yeah, sure. This is your bag? No, I don't. Well, I mean, it doesn't look to me like it's your bag. Dressed like
No,
that.
I'm telling you, it's kind of my favorite bag. I have a very close friend of mine that works for
Wow.
AOL. He gave it to me as a gift.
That's
I'm
interesting because I happen to really like it. I'll tell you why. Because of the Andrew, one of my very best friends. O for Oliver, one of my other very best friends. L for Lennox, my third best friend. So it was like, I thought this was a perfect bag for me. But anyway, if it's yours, it's yours. What can I do? There you go.
Oh, look, I would ask if you could just peek inside. There's a very special envelope in
Oh,
there.
yeah?
It says Teenie Awards on it.
Okay, have a look. Oh yeah, look at that. There is an award there. Teenie Awards, what's that?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on schedule. Since you're here, would you do the honor of helping me read the nominees for Best Lead Actress in a Musical for the
well, yeah.
2015 Tony Awards?
Best
Teenie Awards?
Best lead actress, of course. Let's have a look what we got here. And these are the nominees, right?
These are the nominees.
So let's see what we've got. Okay. So the first nominee is Rebecca Dwoskin as Wednesday Addams in The Addams Family at Pearson.
Mackenzie Engeldrum as Ingra in Young Frankenstein at Hampton Bays.
Inga, not Ingra.
Inga.
Inga.
Thank you.
Get it right. I'll mess up this one. Serena Kashik. No, sorry, Karina Kasich as Annie in Annie Warbucks at Shelter Island.
Allie Lassett as Wednesday Addams in The Addams Family at Southold.
Katie Lemon as Kim Akafi in Bye Bye Birdie at Centre Maurice. Is it Maurice?
Mauritius.
Mauritius.
That's actually where I'm from. I'm from East Mauritius.
Maurice. It's very French.
Isabella LaBeouf as Tracy Turnblad in Hairspray at Longwood.
And Marisa Taché as Rosie in Bye Bye Birdie at Centre Maurice. No.
Mauritius.
Mauritius.
But I like Maurice better.
Maurice.
I like Maurice better.
Please hold your applause.
Apparently, we have a tie here, ladies and gentlemen, so please hold your applause. The first winner that is tied for Best Lead Actress in a Musical for the 2015 Teenie Awards, Mackenzie Engeldrum as Ingra in Young Frankenstein at Hampton Bays.
Hey,
and
congratulations. And wait for it, the second tie is Isabella LaBeouf as Tracy Turnblad in Hairspray at Longwood. Congratulations, both of you.
That's really cool stuff.
Isn't it great? So we clearly had one take with her in her dressing room. You know, this is like right before half-hour call.
That's incredible.
So let's just get in there and do it. You know, and we'll see what happens. So I had a little improv moment. She only knew loosely what we were going to say and do with Dame Helen Mirren, and it was so generous of her to take her time to do that, at leading that show, which she was exquisite in.
You also had another stint, and this is a cool one too. We'll show a little bit of this as well. Now, this we say courtesy our friends at Broadway Live for allowing us to use this exclusively on the Jim Masters show live. Tell us about this. This is kind of cool.
So this was a couple of sort of pilot episodes we did for live streaming when everyone was like, "Oh, what live streaming?"
That all about,
so we were learning about that. So we were broadcasting live from the red carpets, giving people an opportunity to see what it's like on the opening night of a play or a musical. And this was our little toe dip into the hosting pool.
And then you're joined by your co-host there.
Yes, my co-host, Dominic LaRuffa Jr.
Yeah. Another incredible talent and producer and everything else as well, huh?
Yeah, so it's only a play. This one here, we got to interview even the late great Terrence McNally among some of the other audience members that night. This was a really fun evening. I believe this is where we sing "Happy Birthday" to the late, which is awful to say, the late Marin Mazzie.
Sure,
she was glowing. Yeah, it was her birthday that night, and we gave her a kiss on the cheek and said "Happy Birthday" and sang her "Happy Birthday."
It's a very special evening, huh? Absolutely.
And what a great play too. Oh my God.
Let's take a look at this, gang.
Let's watch it.
A little clip here and enjoy here on the Jim Masters Show.
We're here at It's Only a Play, and we're waiting for some of the celebrities to arrive. But until that happens, they're starting to group up over there behind me, if you can see. But we want to talk a little bit more about the characters, some of the actors that are in this production here tonight. We talked about Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick, the Broadway duo, as they're known. But there's some wonderful, wonderful actors in this show.
Personally, I'm really excited about F. Murray Abraham. He's a beast.
Academy Award winner, F. Murray Abraham.
He's currently on Homeland, where he plays just a total badass. I mean, he's quite scary, and equally to how scary he could be in this show, he's the critic. So if there's anyone that anyone fears, it's got to be F. Murray Abraham, because he's really just so good at that.
Is that typecasting, do you think?
Maybe, but his career's been okay. And we have Stockard Channing.
Stockard Channing, Tony Award winner, Emmy Award winner. Stockard won the Tony Award for her 1985 role in A Day in the Death of Joe Egg. She's been on The West Wing. She's been everywhere. She's only just recently come back to Broadway. She took a little bit of time off. She was doing film for a while, a lot of TV, but she's back here on Broadway now. We saw her in 2011 in a play called Other Desert Cities. It's 2014 now, and she's here doing It's Only a Play, and she's playing a pretty interesting role. She's the drunkard actress that I guess tends to be in every stereotypical play. When you see a play about a play, there's always one person like that.
I think the only thing more fun than being drunk is getting to be drunk on Broadway,
right?
Every night,
or playing drunk on Broadway. That's just unprofessional.
Maybe that's why she needed such a long break.
Stalker Jen, she had a really funny story actually, in the confines of this play while they're waiting for their opening night reviews. She had a really interesting story. Stockard's actual Broadway debut was in a play called No Hard Feelings. That was her Broadway debut, and that show closed in a day.
One night. You got one
opening night and closing night. That was it. She took a bow.
I don't think they
she went on to have a really
parties though. Her career.
Do you get two parties if that happens? Seen it with a couple of shows. They only last one day. I don't think they
but
get two parties.
That's the requirement to get on the wall at Joe Allen's, right? So you do get something out of that.
There is. There's a little shop here in New York that all the actors and producers like to go to for lunch. All the business lunches happen in there. It's called Joe Allen's, and there's all these Broadway posters all over the walls. And you sit down, and no one realizes this. I've never heard any of these shows before. It's because to make it on the wall at Joe Allen's, your show actually has to be a flop.
Yeah, it's this restaurant steeped in theater history where everyone who's making Broadway happen now does all of their business surrounded by flops. It's interesting. It's a fun place. Speaking of producers doing business, we have Megan Mullally in this show who plays the producer. And a lot of people don't realize the role of a producer. That's near and dear to both of our hearts. People know the director, the actor. People sometimes even know the critic over the producer, but without the producer, not only just wrangling all the investments, but really helming the whole vision of the show. The producer is the one hiring the director to do his job, and working with the director to hire the designers and the actors. And it's the producer who brings the script that he is working with that writer on to Broadway.
That's how it happens, and sometimes it takes a couple years to really bring something from the page to Broadway. But the producer really is the one that works with the writer, and they hire their director, and then it's the directorship to captain. You want to be able to work with someone and hire a director that really understands the play itself or the musical and really put their own passion into it, because they have their own artistic license. You are basically hiring your director, and it is then their show.
Because people often consider producers just the money guy, but there are a lot of producers that start out with no money, similar to how we got into this business, that have something creative they want to say, a story that they want to be told.
How do you tell it?
They're the ones that get to put the team together, and I wonder how Megan Mullally's feeling being on the other side of that now, and just portraying what we all go through to do this.
Producer.
Have you seen that mob down there? I don't know half of them. I certainly didn't invite the cast of A Delicate Balance. Oh, I said to one woman, "You look just like Hillary Clinton." She said, "I hope so. I am Hillary Clinton." Oh, Irving Berlin said it best. There's no business like the one we're in.
You got that almost right.
That's so cool, huh?
Lots of different things to try and to be. And who is Rob? Is he a host? Is he an actor? Is he a producer? Is he a CEO? I think it just comes down to people and collaboration and working on extraordinary things with extraordinary people.
Absolutely. You mentioned working with people, extraordinary people in collaboration. And then there is this, which is really cool. Yes. Live and in color. Tell us about this. This is very cool.
So I met the Live and in Color team at a presentation of a musical that they had been workshopping that was birthed from their workshop, a Nina Simone story called Little Girl Blue, which is actually now playing off Broadway at New World Stages, and you should check it out. Leona Michelle wrote and stars in Little Girl Blue. It was actually music directed, and he's the onstage music director as well by a dear friend of mine and former teacher, and accompanist at Pace University, Mr. Mark Pfeiffer, just an incredible artist. So their talents are there at New World Stages right now. Don't miss it. And it truly is a very special show, birthed out of Live and in Color, which is doing the most important work right now, which is, looking and breaking down the pipelines of education and development for artists that are lacking opportunity. It's very interesting how our system works and how shows are tried out and where they're actually workshopped and where that funding comes from to give to the artists. A lot of these nonprofits, regional theaters around the country, but some are commercial. And unfortunately, even the ones that are regional tend to fall victim to the sort of commercial bias fever that happens, where they only start hiring for commercial aspects, and where it's supposed to be this balance of commerce and art, and sometimes we lose our way there. And the people that suffer are not only the audiences, but the people that are here to make theater happen, the performers. It's about inclusiveness and accessibility to the art form itself, and to give writers and performers of color a chance and resources to work with professionals in the industry, to helm their creative materials and get it out there. It's an indispensable service that Live in Color is, and it takes a village. It truly does. Yeah, Deb Janke is the artistic director, who's a former Broadway actor himself. Now he's a theatrical director, and just kudos to them and that team. And I'm proud to serve on the board there and help them where I can with the resources that I have. Love them.
All saved up from the lemonade stand.
That lemonade stand, baby, goes a long way.
Life is full circle oftentimes, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah.
You were investing even back then. You knew to invest.
That's true.
And, to put it together. This is a cool shot. We mentioned All the Way, but look at the shot here, huh?
Once again, that happy boy, the first show. That was the first one. So that Tony picture in this one here, I look at that young man and I say, "Wow, you made it."
Mm-hmm. Yes. I would imagine.
And my name is printed in that book.
And the name is in the book.
Yeah.
I would imagine, your mom and the family proud as well over the years too, huh?
Oh, very much so. My mom is my biggest fan. Shout out to Donna. Hi, Mom.
On Long Island?
On Long Island.
Donna on the island. Yes.
Donna on Long Island. She's famous out there.
I tell you, that's a great, it's great to have support and love. Everybody needs it from whatever source you can get it. And if it does come from family, it's
right.
Even better. Not everybody has it, but what if you do? Definitely cherish it. I got another great shot here too.
Stephen Schwartz. Yeah. And I believe I'm giving instructions of some kind. I'm looking off camera very intently. But yeah. That was good. So that was that was also It's Only a Play. It was we did an episode 2 nights later of for the opening of On the Town, which we were producers on. So that was a really great opportunity to just celebrate with everyone in the highest moment too. Everyone coming in, the expectations are high, but it's high excitement. It's opening night. It was a fun project.
So are you basically saying the Dwayne Reed is 2 blocks over on the left?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Get your Wicked stickers right down the road
across from the pizza place and the bagel shop. What are some of those blessings and joys in your life, Rob, that continue to push you forward through all of this in these crazy industries that we are in, entertaining and inspiring and creating and informing and educating and putting smiles on people's faces and getting them to think and reflect and all the things that we get a chance to do, but blessed to do as well.
Yeah.
Starting from that lemonade stand forward, it's beautiful work. Tell us about some of the things that still, move and shake you to inspire you to do it all. through thick and thin.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, we've run out of time.
Yeah, no worries. I think it's really just what keeps me going is the ability to. I've always been a storyteller, and whether that was telling tall tales as a kid, or moving into professionally telling stories for a living, or now helping people tell their stories for a living. That there's always new material out there, and new people and new perspectives to explore. And that if you don't forget that, that you're never going to be shy of content. You're never going to be shy of passionate people that that have something specific to say about any given subject matter. And the fact that the arts is the place to do that, where it's familial, and it's a safe space to explore the things that are deepest and perhaps darkest in us. And it's such a wonderful world to be a part of. So I'm blessed that I have a spot in this community to help people do that, and to have the opportunity to do it myself, like right here on this show.
The Jim Masters Show. I tell you, the viewers already designating you a lovety. And for those watching, what is it? You mentioned that word lovety, because when we launched this show 700 plus episodes ago, 2 years ago, somewhere in the mix, I was saying something too fast. I initially always said the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And somehow I combined the love and levity one day, and out spurted lovety. The audience said, "That's it. You're Mr. Lovety. We're your Lovety squad. This is Lovety Hall, and the guests are part of the Lovety family."
I'm honored, Jim.
Tony's, Drama Desk. There's, as we know, Oscars and Emmys and Peabodys and Tellys and Grammys. But when you get a Lovety on the Jim Masters Show series, are your feet tingling right about now? Most guests say their feet start tingling. Yeah,
I can feel it. I can feel it.
That's it. The audience.
It's much appreciated.
You're turning red too on top of it.
Those LED lights. Yeah,
those LEDs get on you.
The studio's getting hot here.
They make you sweat. Yeah, that's right. You're singing for yourself.
A little more vodka. No.
That's it.
Finish my water.
Is it fresh squeezed?
Yes, absolutely.
Somebody that's here that always pops in towards the latter part of the show, my friend, just wanted to, he's quietly observing. We have a lot of characters here, television and film characters sprinkled. Some are gifts that have been sent over the years. Yeah. Some are my own pieces. Mr. George Burns is in the house with us.
Oh, my goodness. Welcome, Mr. George Burns.
There he is with his cigar. He said you knocked it out of the park tonight on the show. He absolutely loved the conversation. He learned a lot. He remembered some of the things you were talking about, and he wishes you all the best. Continued success from George.
Well, thank
you,
George.
God. You got God on your side.
Hey, it's not a bad thing.
My aunt collected dolls, aunt in Connecticut, and when he turned 100, she made sure she got the George Burns collectible doll, and it got passed down to moi. And he pops in towards the later part just to say hello, and you did well, kid. Isn't that cool?
I bet it's worth a fortune.
I'm supposed to not be holding him. I'm supposed to have it like in a
glass case
in a hole, and I just sort of brought him on. No,
he doesn't seem to mind.
He loves it. Are you kidding me? With his cigar and everything, and his martini. He's got a nice chilled martini over down. You can't really see it, but it's down below here.
He comes with the accessories too.
He comes with the accessories, the whole bit. He's got his own dry cleaning bills, which are extensive and expensive. This was cool, my friend. I really hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoy the time with me and everybody watching around the world as much as I have with you. This was terrific. Any final words or anything you'd like to say about our conversation, about the show, about things you're working on, all the above, my friend?
Yeah, I guess the nightcap on where the work is my work with Mave Studios now, which I'm co-founder and CEO of. That's extended reality agency and immersive production house, and we are looking how technology taps into essentially replace the times where we're not able to go to the theater with a large focus on live capture performance. We're getting to a place now with the convergence of technologies from 5G networks to cloud computing to computer vision, and the soon to be coming, mixed reality peripherals, head mounted displays, where we're very, very close to getting to the point where we can have an audience that's interacting with a dimensional holographic performance, and it feels as if you are there. We're establishing the feeling of presence, which is really, to me, what makes theater theater. I think it was, I'm not sure who said it, but a question was posed: what makes a play a play? Is it when it's been written and then thrown in a desk drawer? Is it when it's been written and then published? Or is it when it's on its feet, on a stage, with an audience, and we're playing back and forth? That relationship, what I was taught is the audience is sort of the last spoke in the wheel of a show. You don't have a show until you have that audience. So that's why theater is sort of non-replaceable, right? You can't fake that. And I don't care how much Disney pays for, Hamilton on Disney Plus, $75 million. It's still a 2D capture of a show. And you can get close with the cameras, and camera work has gotten, it's grown tremendously, the size and capabilities and clarity and fidelity of these cameras. But at the end of the day, you still have this screen here that is this separation. And it's almost as bad as the one camera at the very back of the house, like all the old Lincoln Center archive shows. It was just one camera. And there's something really special that happens when you're in the room in theater that is completely lost when it's captured on film. So with the induction of technology now, and holographic capture and real-time interactive capture and photogrammetry, all these big crazy words, which essentially allows us to capture a performer from every single angle, with hundreds of cameras, but most importantly, the distance between the camera and the subject, whether it's a product or an actor, and that allows the audience to essentially step inside of the scene. And now that could be picking your seat, whether it's the nosebleeds up at the mezzanine or down front row center, or in some shows where it's appropriate, giving full agency to actually go on stage and explore the show from any angle that you want to.
Didn't they just do something recently? I think they were showing just the ability to capture all that with Whitney Houston. I think I saw something.
Right. So so what's funny about the Whitney Houston, Roy Orbison, and I believe Prince was another one, is that those holograms are from old 2D footage.
Right.
Okay. Now, when you're talking about a hologram, we don't have the ability. We're still not there yet. We're close, but we're not there to produce a true hologram. A true hologram, essentially, is you're bending photons. It is light projected unto itself. A true hologram, you don't need a scrim, you don't need smoke. It just exists. We're not there yet. So these shows, which there are ingenious, are taking 2D footage, which is already sort of granular, so you're losing fidelity there, and then projecting it onto smoke or a screen. What we're talking about is high fidelity cinematic quality capture. And if I had the ability to show you, I'd show you my hologram, and you can blow me up to 6'4" in your living room, or the size of this pencil on your desk, in full 4K, 60 frames per second. It's mesmerizing being able to hold this technology in your hand and interact with these assets. So we're looking at it from how this all plays into live performance capture and what the next generation of theater goers will look like. There's 40 Broadway theaters, and there's something really special about that syncopation of that heartbeat that happens when we're emoting together. We are very powerful. What you said before, we're very powerful when we're together and sharing empathy. And when we get 1,000 people in the room together and we're watching or laughing or crying at the same time, there is magic there that needs to be bottled, and it's irreplaceable. That is the true magic of theater. But being able to establish presence, we're getting very close to this being the second to best thing. to actually feel like you're there. And then the best
Incredible.
part is to share that experience socially, because theater is so social.
Yes,
To
it
feel
is.
the presence of someone remotely that's not sitting next to you, is watching from their living room somewhere else, but it feels like you're there watching with them. So really exciting stuff happening at Mave Studios. I can't really say much else because things are in motion.
Still
Jim.
in development. Yes.
But yeah, there's a lot of really exciting things happening, and I'm fortunate to be working on them and marrying these two worlds together. I've always been a big tech nerd, and my love and nerdiness for theater will never leave me. But yes, as far as what else I'm grateful for, it's you and the conversation on the show, and please keep doing it. Keep spreading the lovity.
I appreciate that. Yeah, like I said earlier, I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoyed the time with me and
surely
all the
did.
lovely viewers as much as I certainly have with you. This was terrific. Like I said, we do conversations here. We don't do the typical interview type stuff. We just let it roll. There's no questions that are pre-prepared. There's no teleprompter. It's not stale and you did this and you were great with that, and we let it roll, and we mix and weave a lot of that in.
Sure.
But I think people get a real understanding of you and me and of each other, because they're always chatting during the show too, which I think is really cool. And it's like you say, it takes a village, it's collaboration, and I'm very communal and interactive as a person on and off the air. So it lends itself beautifully. And I like this communal thinking that you have and the collaborative thinking that you're operating with. I think it's very important, and we need much more of that, my friend. This was awesome, and I hope you spread the word about our series. We would absolutely love that.
Oh, absolutely, it would be my pleasure.
Created a nice community here around the world, and good folks watching, and continued success. Good luck. Thanks for all the time. We said we'd chat for about an hour. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. You believe that?
Wow.
It doesn't seem like it,
right?
Right?
Yeah, look at that. Live for an hour 44.
Every guest says it never feels like that because we make it so conversational and easy.
Time is fun when you're having flies.
Exactly. And if you put two New Yorkers together, the conversation, you got to put a pot of coffee on at least.
Oh my God, pot of coffee. two long, not just New Yorkers, two Long Islanders. That was beaten. That accent was beaten out of me real quick. But I go home and it starts to come back. Coffee. Put a pot of coffee on. We got it. You got the Entenmann's? All right, good.
The Entenmann's, yes. Yeah. White Castle.
We got to have a talk.
White Castle at 2:00 in the morning. Why does everybody crave White Castle at 2:00 in the morning?
I don't know. Because I think it's the only time they're open.
These days, I tell you. You're the best, my friend. This was really fantastic getting a chance to welcome you to our series and connecting. Let's definitely stay connected. We're in the tri-state area here, so hopefully we'll break bread at some point too. And you're welcome back. We'll keep the porch light on for you anytime, my friend. Okay?
Wonderful. It was an honor, Jim. Thanks a bunch.
Oh, my pleasure. Is there a website people can go to if they want to learn more about Mave Studios or anything else that you want to mention?
Yeah, they can head to mavestudios.com. It's under development still, but that's the place to sign up for to keep up to date. And we'll have a lot rolling out over the next few months. So
cool stuff. And it all started again with that lemonade stand. See, if you have a lemonade stand, look what can happen, gang.
That's it.
That's it. All right, Rob, you're the best. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
A very special guest coming to us here from not New York City. He was in New York City for a long time, not out east on the Long Island, region, or on Long Island, that is, from not upstate New York either. I know anything north of New York, a lot of people say it's upstate. He's there in Wappingers Falls in the Peekskill area. So he was coming to us from New York. Hey, gang, did you enjoy it? We always have a good time on this series. It's a little bit old school talk show, variety, entertainment, lifestyle, where we are bringing back the lost art of conversation in style. And then we bring all of you in. We just have a really fantastic time with everybody. And we thank you so much for watching, and some really great episodes as well. Did you see the episode with iconic, legendary jazz vocalist, songwriter, and author Melba Joyce? She was with us recently here on the Jim Masters Show live series. And also, of course, we thank Rob for joining us here, 5-time Tony and Drama Desk nominated Broadway producer. An epic conversation with Rob Hinderliter, and he was just really fantastic. Really, really good conversation. And did you see the episode with Sasha Dalton, legendary jazz vocalist, founder of the Chicago Gospel Festival? She was with us recently. Again, there's about 700 episodes you could watch. Joanna Gleason was with us, Tony Award-winning actress and singer. She was epic. So was Lucy Arnaz. Our dear friend Lucy was with us. And we had a phenomenal conversation. If you saw that, watch it again. It was really, really good. And all the different guests and episodes and everything we have done. We thank you for watching, everybody. This is your host, Jim Masters. Thank you for your time this time. Till next time. Now, as you guys know, we don't say goodbye on the Jim Masters Show series. We say see you later. We say moi loop, which in African, of course, we've learned means walk well. We say slancha, cheers. What else do we say? Hasta la vista, avida zane, sayonara, shalom, and all the rest. We will be back with another great episode. We invite and welcome you, those who are loving what they're seeing, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's no cost. You just hit that red button. The channel is Jim Masters TV. The name of the show is the Jim Masters Show Live. Definitely subscribe. We would love that. And also give us a like, a nice hearty like and thumbs up, and leave a comment on the YouTube channel as well. We would love that, gang. You're the best. Thanks for being with us. Stick with us. Spread the word about our series to all your friends. And we appreciate every single one of you for joining us here on the Jim Masters Show. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Many, many more to come. Don't forget, you can binge watch some 700 plus episodes. Pop some popcorn and just enjoy looking back at all the great shows we've done for all of you to entertain, put smiles on your faces, and inspire along the way. Jim Masters saying, thanks for being with us, gang. You're the very best. Thanks for all the great comments. And we appreciate that as well, all the interactivity during the show. See you on the next one, okay? Be well. Thanks for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show. We love you all. Cheers.